I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Amanda.
And this is my grandma, a beekeeper, Terry Nowak.
And I'm Billy!
So bees pollinate when they step into a flower and they pick up the pollen, and the pollen sticks to their legs, and then they go to another flower and then some of the pollen might drop off of there. So that's how they pollinate from flower to flower.
Ooh! I'm pollinating too! Ooh, here's one of my friends! Hi!
Just a point of interesting information about bee stings. When a bee bites you, it leaves a stinger inside of you. And to remove it, you don't want to pluck it out. You want to take something like a credit card or something similar to it and slide it along your skin just to push it out. Because if you pluck it out, more venom is going to go inside and it's going to be more of an intense reaction. Other vespids, such as yellow jackets, wasps and other things, they can sting you over and over, so therefore they will not leave a stinger in there. And sometimes that's good to know, because that way you'll know whether you were stung by a bee or whether you were stung by another vespid. This is a hive body, which is just a box, and it has nothing inside of it. And this is a frame, and it is an empty frame. It has a base on it with shapes of hexagons where the bees will build their combs on. Okay, this is called a smoker, and we put pine needles in here because it creates a nice slow moving smoke coming out of there. And we use the smoker to smoke the hives when we open up the top of the hive. When we open it up, there's bees all the way around, so we go around smoking them so that the bees will be calmed down. The smoke calms them down, and it gives them the idea that we're coming into work. So when they smell the smoke, they go down deep into the hive and we can work up on top.
So calming!
This is a full frame of honey. So when the honey is finished, the bees put a white covering over its wax, and it protects the honey from falling out of the frames. This needs to be harvested and spun in a spinner to get the honey so that we can enjoy it. So the beehive has many compartments. The first two bottom compartments are deeper, and they have frames, and those frames contain the young bees, eggs that the queen lays, and then the finally baby bees. And then the next layer is called supers. Supers is where the honey goes. So when the bees are finished growing, they go to the top, and usually it's around June that there's a lot of flowers, so they collect all the pollen. Pollen is used to make cells, and then they collect the what is it called? Not pollen, but the nectar, and that's what they make the honey out of. And so then that's all there is to it. They just know that the babies stay down at the bottom, and the supers are where the honey goes. They just know how to do it. They're smart. This box is a transport system for the bees. When we need to get new bees, sometimes the bees die over the winter and we have to buy new ones, or sometimes if we want to add a hive, we order a box of bees. They typically come from California, and they ship them to us, and they are shipped in this box. So we have a screen here and a screen here, and that's where the bees live. On top there is a round hole. There used to be a big can with sugared water in there because that's what they use for food while they're being transported. It takes 2 days for them to be transported to our location. This little box is a little box that contains the queen bee. She lives in there herself, and there's a little hole at the bottom where there is a cork so she does not get out. So when it's being transported, it's actually suspended in this box, and the bees all around her, they feed her through that little opening through the netting on that side.
Why do you think bees are important?
Bees are important because they pollinate over 90% of our food. We need food, we need fruits and vegetables. Without pollination, the vegetables and the fruits will not grow. The other reason they're important is because they make delicious honey.
Why did you decide to become a beekeeper?
I come from a family of beekeepers, and I decided it was time that I did something with that too. And I decided to become a beekeeper because now for about 15 to 20 years there's a decrease in bee population. There is a lot of bee diseases, and bees are dying over winter. More than 25 years ago, bees were not dying over winter. They were able to survive. There's a lot of pollutants in the air. There's a lot of pollutants in the people put fertilizer on their grass and on their trees and their flowers, and that's also very harmful to the bees. So I wanted to become a beekeeper so that I can bring more bees around and help save the world, because the bees they pollinate all our food, and without pollination we're not going to have food.
What do you think people can do to help honeybees?
The first thing I would recommend is become a beekeeper. That's the best thing that you can do. You can provide a home for them, you can provide shelter and food for them, and you can also reap the harvest and enjoy their honey. But if you can't become a beekeeper, then what you can do is you can plant flowers that the bees love. They would really appreciate that. There are some flowers that the bees like more than others. You can Google it. You can contact the local bee association in your area. But yes, you can definitely enjoy the bees by feeding them the right kind, by growing the right kind of flowers.
Honey. I love honey.
Thanks for watching, and watch our other video too. So hot!